Number two was I also object to the placement of 2 additional items on the agenda, one of them being a resolution. You claim under the government code that you can put a resolution on the agenda, an emergency resolution. I didn't see anything to indicate that there was any emergency that required naming your general manager, also the treasurer, and then proceeding to a resolution to assign him the ability to withdraw funds on one signature alone. I see you have that on the agenda now. I was prepared to speak to that. I don't know if you want me to speak to resolution 2014-7 at the time you bring it up on the agenda. I am objecting to that being on the agenda as a ratepayer and a resident of the Rosamond Community Services District. As it was indicated by you, it did not make it on the 72-hour notice period, and appears to be, to me, have some flaws to it. But if you want me to address them now, I can address them now, or you want me to wait until you actually call them an agenda item?
Until we have the, when it comes up for the action item, we can have further discussion on it.
Those are the 2 things I wanted to bring up. But first of all, the procedure, where are the 2 directors and how are they participating in that is not, you have a code section that allows for that. Otherwise, I object to that. And number 2, the items you're putting on the agenda, I know you voted to put them on the agenda, but just now, that doesn't meet the 72-hour requirement, and I object to that as well.
Water bank, trying to get some infrastructure in to get water out of the water bank, if need be, coming June, July. We had 3 service line repairs in the last 2 weeks, 2 of them in the trailer park on Trade Winds, and 1 of them on Desert Street. We hung our letters and resulted in the 25 lock-offs. We completed meter reading in the last day or so here. We continue to install the master meters. We just about got the east side of the railroad, or the railroad tracks completely covered, and have started moving on the west side. Public Works guys continue to exercise the valves. Along with doing the irrigation line out there at the water bank, we're using some of the old infrastructure to tie back into the AVAX West feeder, and we've had to repair quite a few leaks on that line to get the water to the West feeder. We've assisted in the GIS crew coming out and GPSing all of our manholes and our valves. And at the wastewater treatment plant, we took one of the pumps offline, and we're going to replace the seals in it. Currently it has a packing seal, and we're going to replace it with a mechanical seal. And that's about all I have for the Public Works right now.
Okay.
That lock-off is significantly lower, isn't it?
Yes, it is this month.
Yeah.
Okay, and any questions of our Assistant GM 14-5 regarding the collection of the sewer service fee by the County of Kern and authorizing the County of Kern in accordance with Government Code Section 61115B to collect on such account in the future.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second there? Okay. Okay. Motion was made by Director Glennan, seconded by Director Webb, Vice President Webb. Okay, now we can have discussion. John, you have a presentation on this?
Yeah, I got a little information here. So, placing the sewer fees on the tax roll would accomplish the following. Number 1, much of the confusion with the folks that vent on the RCSD staff regarding the water bill is that Rosamond Community Service District's water is the most expensive in Lancaster, Palmdale, or Quartz Hill. What most folks don't understand is the sewer rate is collected on the property tax in Lancaster, Palmdale, and Quartz Hill. Our sewer rate is collected on the water bill every month. It can be argued that other communities don't do it that way, and the argument would be true. Some communities don't have a tertiary treatment facility either, and their costs are totally different due to the cost of operating their represented facilities. Number 2, provide sufficient funds to accommodate a major system failure or an abrupt change in operation expenses, such as spike in energy cost, the cost of imported water, This protects the ratepayers from an immediate rate change to accommodate such an event. 2013, Southern California Edison had a 13% increase in their energy rates. The adjudication will drive up cost on water for the RCSD at least 385% difference between what we can pump it for, or what the current average cost on winter and summer rates from AVAC. Number 3 is to slow the needs of increased rate sooner than necessary. The water and sewer rate study addresses 3 areas in developing the rates. Number 1, operating revenue goals. Number 2, rate stabilization reserve goals. Number 3, capital replacement reserve goals. These reserves are necessary to be able to respond to an emergency or an unfortunate need to adjust due to an abrupt change in previously noted. When developing these areas, the revenue necessary to cover them did not anticipate the service number of vacancies and delinquents that we are experiencing. It was created by the economic downturn. Although we have been able to address the delinquencies, we need to address the vacancies, as we still have the cost of maintaining our system. Rate losses due to the delinquents and vacancies beginning 2010-2011, 154,766. 2011-2012, 161,929. 2012-2013, $138,026. Total loss, $454,721. These amounts of loss are unacceptable to maintain a proper working level on our system. We need to act to stop the loss of revenues. This is a business decision necessary to ensure proper health and safety of the community.
Okay. This time I will take discussion from board members.
It's Rosamond residents and owns house. Was you notified of this? Those of you who live here, can you tell me, was you notified of it?
No.
No,
You didn't know nothing about it, right?
no.
But they're here.
That's not my
Word
point.
spreads. Because it was in the paper.
Yeah, it was in the paper, it's in the paper.
Yes, okay. As far as notification goes, we post an agenda by law. We cannot mail out letters to every homeowner every time we have an action item on our agenda that, that would break the bank.
Don't you send out a bill every month though?
We send a bill out, yes we do. But we also post an agenda. The agenda's online, the agenda's on the building. And people read about it in the newspaper, so it was announced. People did find out about it. We're not keeping this secret.
Hiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Now, as far as, the sewer, this is not a tax. This is not a proposal of a new tax. I'm just gonna call it, round it off to the nearest dollar, the $40 sewer fee that is on your water bill every single month pays for the infrastructure. The sewer is a collection system, not a delivery system. And the infrastructure that is in place is there to collect the sewage and take it to the sewage treatment plant to be treated. Whether anything's going into that sewer or not, the cost had to be expended to put the sewer system in and to have someplace for it to go. It also, the cost of maintaining the system, cleaning the system, and expanding the system when it reaches capacity and we need to put in larger lines or relief lines. The County of Kern, I believe, charges us 22 cents an account to put it on the tax rolls. That's cheaper than a postage stamp to mail the bill. So that is in a nutshell, that is the reason for it. And I mean, I'm not a tax expert, she just left, but I do believe that if it is on your property tax bill, that you can write it off. But like I said, I don't know that for a fact, but I assume you can. Everything that's on my property tax I write off my income tax, property tax, assessment fees, and everything else. So, that's my comments on it.
What you will pay on your property tax is the exact same thing you would pay monthly on your monthly bill. When we failed to do this last year, I voted for us to go ahead and do it, and we voted not to do that. But when we did that last year, I made a mistake and bought a rental house when I thought the economy had dipped all the way down to got a loan and bought a house. And it went a lot lower than when I bought. So I have a single rental, and I have excellent renters. And after last year, us looking at this and determining that they have been paying the sewer fee, $40 a month, besides the rent to me. And I felt that fee belongs to the property owner, not the person living in the house. And so I lowered their monthly rent by $40. They're still paying it to the water district, but their monthly rent is lower $40. I think it's a just thing to do. The owner should be paying for the sewer, not somebody renting the home. If the owner wants to raise the rent to cover that, then that's their choice.
Okay, do you have Rick?
Yeah, and address how the foreclosed property fees would be collected. Yeah, when a property goes into foreclosure, bankruptcy, delinquencies, how that would actually be collected. I think the public needs to understand that.
When a property goes into foreclosure, it's subject to paying all fees, taxes, etc. With the property, the obligation remains. So whatever is owed on that property, when it's sold, should be disclosed by the tax assessor and or the seller, I would imagine, but they're still recoverable.
Yeah, I think that's a point that any of the foreclosed properties that we've experienced, none of those fees have been recovered. And with this, putting it on the property tax bill, then at least those fees certainly would be recoverable.
Correct.
This direct Webb, one of the, I just want to show the community when we look at numbers. If you look at the loss currently at $454,000, $721. So things remain where they are now.
Hey, Rick, can you hold it closer to your mouth, because we can't really hear you?
I said, if we're looking at the $454,721 loss now, if this played out and the economy didn't improve, and you say this went another 2.5, 3 years, we're looking at right at $1 million, about $909,000. And the bad part about this, that's money that we don't capture anymore. And I think when you look at what we're trying to do from protecting the community's, the ratepayers' wealth and all, this is something that we're not charging any more money. We're just moving away that the money gets collected. And I think the numbers speak very loud and very clear here. We're at a $454,000 that we will not get. And this is something that we want to continue to do. That would be the concern that I would have with the tax roll the way it's not now.
Jane, if you own a home and rent it to somebody else, yes, it will change. You will start paying it now instead of the renter. So if you're an investor and have properties, you're going to start paying for it. And either you increase your rents or whatever you're doing, or you're going to have to eat it. So I can understand investors owning and rentals that have that concern.
They get the money from the county twice a year, right?
Yes. Most, I have an impound account, so
Still every month.
mine is paid.
Instead of every month, they get it twice a year, right?
Yeah, well, the county gets paid twice a year. I pay my monthly house payment, all my taxes and everything every month, so my personally.
But we are in fact, and I'm sensitive about this, that if you have investment properties or rentals, then we are looking to the property owner to secure the sewer bill. So there is a slight change in that, and Director Byron did address that.
Okay. Steve, did you have some comments?
Hey, Greg, this is Director Webb again. I have one other question. You know, when we vote on something, I want to make sure the public knows that we don't vote on things that just impact them. Anything that's voted on is also impacts the rest of as much as the community. And I think when we look at the word budget, you're not adding to a budget, you're just moving the money around in a budget. And let's be mindful of that, and the money, I won't use the old phrase that we're leaving on the table, but that becomes a very big number that's left sitting on the table that we can't get back to anymore. Thank you.
We look at a significant loss of revenue, and constantly we hear from the community, how are we reducing the rates? And the only thing that we have been trying to do since I've been here is to do things efficiently so that we don't incur excessive costs, and to ensure that we capture the revenues that we're supposed to be capturing, so it does not cause us to have to prematurely look at our rates again. We don't like raising rates any more than anyone else likes having them raised. But after this last 5 years, implemented 5 years ago, we're trying our best to capture the revenue that's necessary to operate and that was anticipated to operate the system. The Director Webb brought up was extremely appropriate, because the numbers that I have laid out are for the past year's losses, not the future year's losses if we don't do something. So I think it's incumbent on me to advise the board when we're losing revenue and propose a way to recover those. And you properly indicated that this is not a tax. We are just changing the method of collection.
Well, basically, starting with July 1st, the $40 a month drops off the water bill, and so it appears like there's been a rate reduction just in time for the November election. I appreciate your honesty, because that's exactly what you said. What has not been addressed is, what about some senior citizen who has paid for their home, doesn't have a house payment. Now they have a $480 bill. It's going to accrue to their tax records every year. So instead of having a, I don't know, $700, $800 tax bill every year, now it's gone up 50%.
To me, and I think it's fair.
And that's another thing. The just thing is for you to tell the owner whether he should pay or not. Obviously, the owner can make the decision now whether he wants to or not anyway. The bigger issue is you're putting this on the tax bill. It's no longer in your control. You're claiming that you're going to save all this money, but it takes 5 years for you to foreclose on a home. The county can foreclose on a tax bill. You're assuming there's going to be taxes, and the other thing is it fair for a vacant property to continue to pay in the sewer? Obviously, they don't put in as much. Obviously, they got to pay for the lines that are there in the streets, but they're not using what's actually there, and they're not paying for what's going on in the pond. And that's
Currently, foreclosed homes, investors who have homes and they're renting them out, and sometimes they're empty, they're beating us out of money to the tune of $400,000. And who's picking that up? All the other people.
The people are actually using the sewer,
But they're paying not only theirs, but those who are
not using the sewer.
not using the sewer because they're sitting idle. The sewer costs the same thing, whether it's operating or not.
Okay, Olaf, when it comes to a sewer, I want to address this one part. The sewer is in service whether a house is depositing into it or not. The sewer is a collection device, not a delivery like your water. They might be on vacation for a month. They're not putting anything into the sewer either, but yet they're gonna pay that $40 a month.
I understand your point. I also understand there are many homes in Rosamond who are in neighborhoods that aren't on the sewer, never have been. And they're only required to, when they're sold FHA or VA, they're required to hook up to the sewer. Because as you may not remember, as Mr. Glennan recalls, that the district wasn't formed until 1969. Most homes that were built prior to that time were all on septic tanks. So many of those, obviously those homes don't pay you anything right now. And obviously when you determine the $40 sewer tax is going on, that only going to the properties that are already paying you a sewer fee?
It won't affect them one bit if they stay on their septic tank.
They stay on their septic tanks, there's
It
no,
won't affect
If they're
them one
not
bit.
being charged a sewer fee now, they're not being charged a sewer fee then.
who determines that?
If they
Because
charge one now.
they're not charged one now, we're not gonna create a fee. In
And-
fact,
And the other thing is, you said it's going to cost you 22 cents a property. How much money are you going to pay? How much actually are you actually going to pay? Because I hear all this stuff about how much money are you going to pay the county of Kern every year to collect the sewer fees?
I believe it's 22 cents
22
per
cents per
property.
property.
How much does that work out to?
I don't have a calculator in front of me. But how much is it costing now at 40 cents a stamp to mail a bill to people? Either way you look at it, Olaf, it's saving money.
Because I got water.
Yes.
Everybody who's getting a sewer bill is also getting water. Am I mistaken about that? Do some people only get water, or only get sewer and no water?
Yes.
Yes,
Some people only get sewer and no water.
Yep.
How about how many people are those?
I don't have that number in front
I
of me.
would bet you that maybe that's maybe 1 or 2%. But the large percentage of people get water and sewer, and not the other way around, not sewer and
Well, the
no water.
majority of the people, you're correct, are getting both.
So you're
water
not
and
wasting
sewer.
40 cents on the stamp.
They're on the
because
same bill.
Yeah, they're on the same bill, so that's not an issue. Is the next step you're gonna put the water bills on there?
No. See, the sewer fee is a fixed rate, okay? That's why it can go on the property tax. The, no pun intended, but the water bill is a fluid rate. It goes up and down. There is no set fee. It can be, $30 one month, and $25 the next month, and $50 the next month. So you can't put that on your property tax. And it is a practice that is done in Lancaster, Palmdale, Quartz Hill, most entities throughout LA County, and I'm sure if you looked into Bakersfield, they probably do it as well.
Well, hang on a second. The Lancaster, Palmdale, Quartz Hill thing is not a very good analogy. At least when it comes to Lancaster, Palmdale. As you know, Lancaster and Palmdale water comes from Los Angeles County Water Works 40 or Lancaster Water Works 22. The biggest holdups in the settlement of the litigation dealing with the adjudication of the water. We don't have an LA County or Kern County Water Works that takes care of the water and someone else takes care of the sewer. That's
We're not talking about water today, we're talking about sewage.
all right.
And
But you,
sewage in LA County is handled by LA County Sanitation District, not by the water agencies.
right.
Completely
So
different.
that's so how you're comparing apples and oranges is what I'm getting at.
What I'm saying is, no, we're not comparing apples and oranges. What I'm saying is, putting the property tax, putting the sewer rates on your property tax is not something that we just invented, that's not being done other places. It's common practice.
Putting the sewer rates in Lancaster on the property tax doesn't necessarily lower the water rate. If LA County Water Works takes care of the water bill, it's gonna be the same like if something goes in foreclosure or if someone goes,
So if houses go into foreclosure today, we don't get anything from them at all. But I'm going under the assumption, Olaf, that people aren't gonna let their houses go into foreclosure over a $40 a month sewer bill. That's just my assumption on that. And I think if anybody that has investment properties and they've got rental properties, they're gonna get that property tax paid every year. And if they've gotta raise their renters' rates a little bit to do it, sure, they'll do it. It's a joke. You're putting something out there that you're saying that we're doing this because of the election coming in November. I'm doing this because of the fact that this is a sound business decision. It's the best interest of this agency and the ratepayers of this agency. And the fact is that yes, there is an election in November, and the voters will put whoever in place that they want to put in. And but I make my decisions, and the rest of the board members make their decisions based upon what they feel is in the best interest of the community in this district.
Well, I guess